the Homestead-Miami Speedway, located in beautiful Homestead-Miami, Florida, has been the home to the season ender for the NASCAR Cup Series for years and years and years. But tonight, on this beautiful Tuesday evening, it is home to the Western States Racing League Truck Series as they invade it for round number 13 on their first 2021 season. Tonight, over 35 drivers have signed in. A lot of new names will take to the track for their first qualifying efforts with the Western States Racing League Truck Series, and with new names came a new name atop the practice leaderboard. That was Paul Krumrie, running a 33, threes across the board there for Krumrie and Ross Rawlings. Then it was Bentley Glazer, who is currently your points leader. But as I forgot to mention a little while ago, my name is Ryan Williams. I will be your head commentator tonight, and joining me in the booth, as always, for the WSRL Truck Series, it is Mr. Ben Bruno. We've got Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett out in the production truck, so we're going to have an amazing night here. Ben, I saw you ghosting around there in the truck for a little while. What have you gathered about this Homestead-Miami Speedway, and what are we going to see here tonight from some of the best drivers known to man?
You know, really going to be a lot of the same stuff for me here again, Ryan. Gotta make the tires last. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't get a glance at how many we have here tonight, but just got to keep the truck clean, run a clean race, run your race. That's the big thing, and got to be patient to try to get to the front of the field here at Homestead tonight.
Homestead, a track quite different to what we saw last week at the Pocono Speedway. That track had 3 turns. This track, your regular 4 turns, but the racing groove here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway is much different than any other that we'll see on the circuit, as most guys, if not all, are going to be right around the top side of the track, and your first times of the night are coming in quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Right now, Wayne Hutchinson sitting first in qualifying at a 33.874, followed by Rob Gall with a 33.880. New quick time, Kyle McCartney to the top of the list with a 33.428, Ryan.
That's exactly right. One of your favorite guys to talk to week in, week out. Had a good run last weekend. Speaking of great runs last week, if you guys missed it, I would go back and watch the last 5 laps of the Western States Racing League Truck Series from the Pocono Speedway and just see the battle that was had between Bentley Glazer, Bob Beltrami. I think Jeff Hollingsworth was in the mix there, and it was one of the best battles that I've seen a truck race have on the iRacing servers in a very, very long time. And that should translate very well here tonight to the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And who knows, this could open a door for another first-time winner on the season.
Yeah, and it's, so far through qualifying, Kyle McCartney still able to hold on to that point. Jackson Bell just turned in a very quick lap with a 33.497. He's nipping on Kyle's heels right now. Nick Kuhn sitting third with a 33.510. Brian Barnes in fourth at a 33.542. And Rob Gall in fifth at a 33.544. So some different names up in the top 5 in qualifying here at Homestead right now.
Well, you see there are guys like Mark McFadden, Alan Bergen, Paul Krumrie. They're all working down their second lap. They ran the extreme top side on lap number 1 to try and gather up as much momentum as possible, and I'm sure that we'll see Krumrie come along for a decently quick time. Puts him mid-pack at 11th, fast so far. So like you said, it's still McCartney first quick, Hollingsworth second quick. His teammate Jackson Bell will be third quick, not running his usual number 87 here tonight. That one will be, actually it is Bentley Glazer. Oh, it's Jackson Bell, my bad. I got Bentley Glazer and Jackson Bell all kind of mixed up. But Bentley Glazer right now, third quick, there it was. I just had to update my timing and scoring. Glazer was third quick, so I was right all along. Nick Kuhn a driver we haven't seen very much this year. So a lot of new faces, like I said, over 35 race trucks here tonight in Miami.
And a really stout field at that. You mentioned a lot of them right there. You know, these guys are always on the pole here at the end of the night. So going to be another interesting one from Homestead. You know, guys like Wayne Hutchison, he's back there right now in 12th for qualifying. David Wood, always quick, hard to run with. Like you said, Paul Crumry, quick in practice, 14th in qualifying. So you know that he's got speed in that truck. Got to watch out for him starting in the middle of the field here tonight.
Well, that's exactly right. See, we have 107 laps, so that's going to mean that pit stops, tire wear, fuel economy, everything is going to come into play. But going into tonight, Bentley Glazer is still atop of the leaderboard, and he leads now, once again, by Beltrami by 40 points. Jeff Hollingsworth is 1 point back of Beltrami. Kyle McCartney, 14 points back of Hollingsworth. Brian Barnes, 3 points back of McCartney. So your top five still only split by now 58 points. But it's only 18 points splitting second and fifth. So, man, oh man, this season still has a long way to go in determining who is going to come out on top as far as the point standings are concerned. And even looking forward from here tonight, we are at the Homestead-Miami Speedway this weekend. Next weekend, we will be at the Nashville Speedway, which is a much different racetrack, and I am excited as any to be going back to short track racing in these trucks.
Absolutely. Always fun on the short tracks. You know, where I'm from, a lot of short tracks up by me, asphalt, dirt tracks. They're all pretty short in my neck of the woods. So, you know, definitely my preferred track to watch. But Jeff Schmeier's first lap, good enough for a 15 spot at a 33.842. If I'm not mistaken, Carl Burke now able to edge Bentley Glazer for the third spot by just a couple thousandths of a second, 4 thousandths of a second for Carl Burke to take away the third spot from Bentley.
That's exactly right. And going back to the schedule really quickly, looking past going back to a short track next week at the Nashville Speedway, right after this, it's straight, right after that, it is straight back to the other side of the spectrum when we will go to the Michigan International Speedway, which, if there was ever a series that tests a driver on any type of track that you can imagine, it is right here with the Western States Racing League in their 44th season, that being spring of 2021.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to Vegas. That's one of my favorite tracks to always watch. Just a little irreverent side note there, but you know, really excited to see what's in store for tonight. Really pretty tight qualifying here as the top five, all separated by just a 100th or a 1,000th of a second. Nick Kuhn in sixth at a 33.510. Brian Barnes in seventh with a 33.542. Rob Gall eighth. Bob Beltrami ninth, and Jeff Schmeier 10th right now. Lots of people still left to qualify. Wayne Fleet, Cody Jenkins, Ross Rawlings, Mark Redeker, Javier Perez Torres, James Campbell, Eric Woods, Dan Stussy, Keith Kelman, and Russ Kilgore. Still waiting to post a time.
And as you guys at home, watching at home, look through the standings and see who's fast and who's not, keep in mind that all of these times are super, super, super close to each other. I mean, first place and 20th place are only separated by, well, that's 5/10 of a second. 5/10 of a second over a period of time. That's not that much between first and 20th position here. So expect a very, very good race, as well as hopefully a clean race. Usually, Homestead isn't necessarily the best racetrack when it comes to racing, but with a series like this, I think they may just prove me wrong here tonight.
Well, everybody's so tight, and one of the things I got a chance to take a look at, four sets of tires here tonight, one fast repair per the usual. So, again, the broken record Ben here. Got to maintain the truck, got to maintain the tires. Try to keep yourself out front while doing that. So, not the easiest thing to do, especially at a track like this, as you're alluding to, Ryan.
Oh, most definitely not. I mean, it's really going to come down to who wants to push the wall and who wants to try and maintain a run. As you guys see in the real life situations with drivers who are able to run the wall here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, they usually, more times than not, win. As qualifying comes to an end and we bring to you our race lineup order, as you'll have Kyle McCartney rolling off on the inside pole with Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 to his outside. Row number 2 in that number 53 ESBN on the back of it, that is Mr. Carl Burke. To his outside will be the 87 of Bentley Glazer. Rolling off row number 3 on the inside will be the 23 of Jackson Bell. To his outside, the 30 of Nick Kuhn. Row number 4 finds Brian Barnes alongside Rob Gall. Row number 5 sees Bob Beltrami and Jeff Schmeier. Row number 6, Charles Woods and David Wood. Row number 7, Wayne Hutchison and Dennis Fuson. Row number 8 is Paul Krumrell and Ryan Steele. And then Ben will pick up with row number 9.
Row number 9 composed of Kevin Thrift in the 33 and Mark McFadden in the 48, followed by David Weaver and Dustin Burns in the 04. William Fletcher going to start 21st, Timothy Bates 22nd, followed by Paul Hoffman in the 3 truck, one of your favorites, Ryan. Earl Weaver in the 46 to the outside of Paul. Alan Bergen in 25th, Barry Phil in 26th. And then it gets a little bit, it got all goofed up on the scorecard here. Ross Rawlings, Mark Redeker in 27th, Keith Kelman 28th, Wayne Fleet 29th, Javier Perez Torres 30th, Eric Woods 31st, Russ Kilgore 32nd, James Campbell 33rd, Dan Stussy 34th, and Cody Jenkins going to round out the field in 35th.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you see them go into turn number 3, lights are out on the pace truck. We have 36 trucks beginning this race. So it's going to be hot and heavy from the drop of the green flag the first time. It's Kyle McCartney on the pole as the pace truck begins to dip off of, there he goes, off of turn number 4. It's all on Kyle McCartney from here on out. The green flag waves. It's McCartney in the 97 of Hollingsworth as he leads them into turn number 1 for the first time here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And it's all Kyle McCartney, followed by Jeff Hollingsworth. Contact there between Carl Burke and Hollingsworth, and that's going to send Hollingsworth around, and he's going to collect more here. We got a parking lot.
Somebody call Lee Bryce because it's a parking lot party, and nobody's going to understand that except for people who are from South Carolina watching this. But as was stated, it is a parking lot down there in turn number 2. Hollingsworth absolutely destroyed as a result of that.
And it's unfortunate, it's sometimes there's just not a whole lot that you can do about it, but not how you want to get the night started, that's for sure.
Yeah, but fortunately for Jeff Hollingsworth, he'll be able to bring it into the pit lane, get a fast repair on that number 97 Coast Guard machine. So he'll get right back in this thing, and as we've seen that driver do so many times this year, I'm sure we will see him right back at the front of the track in no time soon, or in no time short.
Let's see here. I know that things are going to get shuffled around, but Jeff Schmeier started 10th. He's up to 6th already. We'll see, how things get shuffled back into shape as they get ready when they get to that point. But Obviously a couple of guys taking advantage. Rob Gall from 8th to 5th, Jeff Schmeier 10th to 6th, David Wood 12th to 8th, Ryan Steele 16th to 9th, well, now 10th, but things are going to get shuffled up here, I'm sure, so we'll see where they shake out.
Well, they most definitely will, but the unfortunate part there is that it all came on lap number 1. I mean, we didn't even get through turn number 2 before people were already trying to file in line, and it just absolutely bit Jeff Hollingsworth in the backside. I mean, that was no fault of his own, but he's going to have to do it the extremely long way and come from 35th, 36th, all the way back up to the front if he wants a shot at winning this thing. And you just absolutely feel for the 97 of Hollingsworth here, who's been one of the top contenders all season long. I mean, he's sitting at 3rd in the points. He was 2nd going into last week. Had a bad run at the Pocono Speedway, and now he's back to 3rd. And this early start does not bode well for his points chances out of tonight.
And Father Time's on his side, and he's one of those guys every week that we're just saying his name over and over again. So I'm sure that he's going to be able to figure out how to get back up here. Like I said, he's got a lot of time to do that here as well. So, unfortunate, but I'm sure that we'll be talking about him a little bit later on.
Most definitely. Yeah, we most definitely will be talking about him later on, because it doesn't matter if he's back battling in the top 5. He's going to be putting on a lights-out killer show wherever he's out on the racetrack. You can be sure of that, but man, I was just hoping for a good couple of clean first laps or so, but hey, that bodes well for the number 18 of Kyle McCartney. You see right there in front of him is the number 78 of Dan Stussy, who is, I believe, a lap down, because he scored in the 32nd position, but he's up there right in front of McCartney. He will not start there, I don't think. And he should receive a wave around here as the iRacing Chevy Silverado pace truck comes across the start-finish line. But as we come across real quick and the lines go out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, we want to take just a second to once again thank all of our great sponsors here at the Esports Broadcasting Network, whether it be Circle B Diecasts, Rocket Racing Setups, anybody else that really helps us out, with any of our broadcasts, and sponsors for the series such as Cast Iron Stove or Cast Iron Cooking on YouTube for this WSRL Racing League. We thank all of their sponsors as well as all of our sponsors that allow us to come back night in, night out and do what we love here on the beautiful iRacing servers. But as was stated, lights are out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck. Kyle McCartney leads us back to green, single file here with Carl Burke in tow.
And Kyle McCartney going to fire the field off first to that loud pedal. Going to sail him down into turn 1, followed by Carl Burke, Bentley Glazer, Jackson Bell, Rob Gall. All smooth sailing so far here, Ryan, into turn 1.
That's exactly right. I mean, you're not seeing too much action just yet, but we're just getting going here. Battle already has brewed and is over for the 5th position as the 22 of Schmeier. He continues to make some pretty big moves. The 23 of Bell to the inside of the 87 of Glazer. Bell gonna easily pick off that position in his Toyota Tundra as he rolls into the 3rd position here. McCartney about an 8-car length advantage over Burke, who silently already tonight having one of his better runs of the year. Anytime you see that truck on the track, look at the back of it, you see that big, beautiful Esports Broadcasting Network logo on the back of that number 53, and Right now, that ESPN logo is trying to hold back the number 23 of Jackson Bell, who is already making a fierce charge towards the front.
And Jeff Schmeier wasting no time now, up to 5th, just in front of Rob Gall and Nick Kuhn in that Skull Bandit truck. Trying to take a look to the outside of Bentley, maybe a little bit of tire preservation early on here, as there's a lot of time left in this race, as we see Jeff Hollingsworth now making his way back out on the track on the low side, try to get back in this race here.
Well, you see, there was possibly a great decision there from Jeff Hollingsworth. He could have easily just gone in, taken his one fast repair, and have been done with it. But that driver was smart enough to think, you know, what if something else happens? What if there are plenty of other cautions? I could either take my time here and preserve my fast repair and just try and get wave arounds as the race goes on. And that's what he decided to do, and ultimately it could be a great decision, or it could be a race killer. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your mind and keep your eyes on that 97 of Jeff Hollingsworth and see what happens to him for the rest of this race. But you see there, we got a battle brewing now for the 4th position here, as the 22 of Schmeier, he's gaining on Bentley Glazer hard into turn number 1.
And he keeps trying to work the top side right now, see if he can get some good momentum off the top here, get around the outside. But like I said, you know, when I was talking about him earlier, probably trying to play it a little bit smart on the tire. I know it's early, but not wasting any time to try to get around Bentley either, as they're starting to reel in on Jackson Bell now. Other than that, pretty smooth sailing. Kyle McCartney out to a 2nd lead. See if he can stretch it out a little bit more. 1.1 this time by, followed by Jackson Bell, Bentley Glazer, Jeff Schmeier rounding out the top 5.
Well, since you said that, Schmeier has completed the pass on Glazer, so it is now McCartney, Burke, Bell, Schmeier, Glazer, your top 5. And Ben, you may call it the high side, but you know what us real race car drivers and race car fans call the top side of a racetrack?
You got me puzzled on this one, I suppose.
That's the Larson line, baby. And Jeff Schmeier is currently using the Larson line to his advantage here as he starts to make a charge towards the backside of the 23 of Jackson Bell. And now Bentley Glazer has began following the 22 to the top side of the racetrack.
You got to figure a lot of distance here. You know that these guys have plenty of feel for a good long green run here. Got to make the tires work to be, you know, not moving backwards in the later of the run. Bad English there for you, but really got to take care of those tires. Like I mentioned, keep the damage off the truck. And as you alluded to, you know, Hollingsworth with a really good move to not use up the one fast repair. Instead, take the time, fix what you can, and get out there and try to make your way back through.
Well, a battle that I'm seeing now is for the it's for the 13th position. It was David Wood getting passed there by the 17 of Wayne Hutchison. Wood has a little bit of damage to the rear of his Ford F-150 race truck, so 27 falls back a spot into the 14th position, and from then on, battle for 2nd place. As I'm looking back up towards the front, it's the 53 of Burke on the inside, Bell on the outside. Bell using a bit of that Larson line, Burke trying to hold it down on the bottom. He's going to slide up the racetrack down the front straightaway, going to give Bell plenty of room on the outside. However, as Bell takes the position across the start-finish line and clears him going into turn number 1 here. So Jackson Bell making a charge, but now it looks like the 22 of Schmeier, he wants to get in on the action too.
That's absolutely right. And, you know, Bentley looking in as Jeff Schmeier taking a look to the inside of Carl Burke now. A big run on the bottom. He's nearly to the bumper of Jackson Bell. Gonna see if he can slide up in front of Carl. He is clear like a clear sky in Florida when it's 90 degrees outside, Ryan. That's where I wish I was with these guys right now.
He's clear like the reflection on top of Mr. Clean's head, and now making his way towards the back bumper of the 23 of Jackson Bell. We take a look back at your leader, Kyle McCartney. He's still got about a second and a half over Bell, and growing as that number 18 Toyota Tundra Camping World race truck is absolutely flying here. Kyle McCartney did his homework and currently is doing very, very well, but Bell starting to make up just a little bit of ground, now under a second and a half here. Jeff Schmeier made the pass for third on Burke. He's continuing to run the Larson line up top. Then you've got Burke now getting pressured by Bentley Glazer as we head down the back straightaway.
And Rob Gall and Nick Kuhn mixing it up a little bit here these past couple laps. See if Bob Beltrami can get by the inside of Rob Gall here to the inside. He's got a big run. Not going to be able to clear him, it doesn't look like. Going to give him the room, not slide up in front of him. As it's a drag race down the back stretch. Hollingsworth following behind him, followed by Charles Wood would be the next position chronologically on the track. Well, followed by Ryan Steele. A lot of fast guys right now in the middle of the pack.
Well, Bob Beltrami, if you're looking at that battle there for the 7th position, Beltrami, he's one of those guys that races with so much respect for his competitors. I mean, Beltrami, again, is the owner of the Western States Racing League, so he's going to race with respect. Has finally made the pass on Rob Gall and made it complete last time by. You see Hollingsworth there juts to the inside of Gall as well. Hollingsworth, again, not for position, but Beltrami, if you'll remember back to last weekend, was one of the 2 drivers that made that late race push on Bentley Glazer and came up just about 2 hairs short of getting the pass completed on Glazer. So Beltrami is running on a bunch of momentum here tonight, and he's looking to see where that takes him, as he's going to fall in line behind Hollingsworth and maybe try and draft his way towards the front, or in front of Hollingsworth, and try and draft his way towards the front.
Jeff Schmeier these last couple laps has really closed in on Jackson Bell. At one point he was right up to the bumper, has fallen off a little bit, so he gets a really good run down the backstretch. That seems to be his best turn because he's always on Jackson's bumper heading down into turn 3. So see if he can, he's probably being a little bit patient right now. See if he can make something work on Jackson.
Speaking of battles, battle for 5th here, the 30 of Kuhn made the pass in turn number 4, but it's the 53 of Burke pulling the okie doke on him down the front straightaway, coming back to the inside and completing his pass into turn number 1. Burke likes the bottom side of the racetrack. That Skull Bandit up there, the 30 of Kuhn, likes the outside of the racetrack. You see that 97 coming into frame. He is not for position here as we're looking at the battle for 5th. It's Kuhn on the inside once again. It's the 53 of Burke on the outside, and pretty much, if you're used to watching dirt racing, they're pretty much trading sliders at each other at this point of the battle here, as the 30 of Kuhn has cleared him down the front straightaway, and there is no run for Burke, so that's going to be battle won by Nick Kuhn as he pulls into the 5th position.
Trading sliders all over the spot.
22 into the wall.
Boy, oh boy, they were trading slider for slider there, Ryan, as you were mentioning that, so action all over the track. Bentley trying to capitalize on that mistake to the inside. He's got a good run, but clearly, the preferred side right now, preserving the tire on the top side. So we'll see if he can get clear Jackson, and he does.
Well, the cool thing about iRacing now is at bigger tracks like Homestead and your super speedways, your Michigans, your Texases, wherever the top side can be run, there's this little air bubble right up against the wall, and if you hit it just right, it carries every bit of your momentum around. If you don't hit the wall, carries every little single bit of your momentum around with you, and you get a massive run off of the corner. And that is exactly what both Jackson Bell and Jeff Schmeier are doing right now, as they continue to hold dominance on the outside over Glazer on the inside. And Glazer now forced to fall back in line back there in the 4th position.
Take a look
as I say that, Bell into the wall again. That allows Schmeier right around him, and there goes Glazer as well.
Every time, Ryan, I mean, right when you're getting her going, find the wall a little bit, and Bentley squeezes in there between Schmeier and, I'm sorry, I missed it, Jackson, yep, Jackson Bell. And Jeff Hollingsworth still trying to race his way back into, let's see, what's he down right now?
2 laps.
2 laps, so trying to race his way back 1 lap down, that'll be big for him.
Well, as we've watched all of these battles, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't mentioned one man. That man's name is Kyle McCartney. Kyle McCartney has over a 3-second lead on Jeff Schmeier, Bentley Glazer, and Jackson Bell. So McCartney has so far turned in the room key, packed his bags in the truck, and he has checked Slap out of this race. And the lead keeps growing for McCartney. But remember, green flag pit stops and or yellow flag pit stops could change the entire name of the game here.
And Jeff Schmeier and Bentley still just battling lap after lap. Bentley running the inside, Jeff running the outside. That's going to speed up the wear of Bentley's tires, but I'm sure he's being a little bit conservative, trying not to spin them off. Coming off the corner, we probably have a good amount of green flag laps to run before we get a green flag stop from these guys.
Well, at this point of the night, we've had some really, really good racing, all green flag. Let us know down in the comment section below if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, whatever it may be. We're watching you. Let us know if you think this thing is going to go green the rest of the way, or if things will get shaken up. As you see there, that 97 of Hollingsworth, he's begging and praying for a caution behind the wheel of that Coast Guard sponsored number 97. As he pulls up in front of the 22 of Schmeier, he's going to try and track down McCartney to get a lap back the hard way here. But again, let us know in the comment section where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, what drivers you'd like us to highlight, etc. We love to hear from you guys, and we love the interaction back and forth.
Take a look a little bit further back outside of the top 5 to Ryan Steele. Started 16th up to 7th, now working on Bob Beltrami for that 6th spot. Charles Wood from 11th to 8th, and William Fletcher 21st to 16th. There's a handful of big movers up here. Paul Kroom-Rye from 15th to 13th, so having a good race in his Western States Racing League debut this far in that sharp number 8 Valvoline truck.
Well, you speak of the big movers. The big mover in the opposite way right now is Carl Burke. After that little bit of contact he had with Hollingsworth on lap number 1, Burke has fallen from 3rd place all the way back to 11th right now, and got a little bit of damage on that race truck. Speaking of damage, if you look at the right front of Jeff Schmeier's race truck, he's got a little bit of damage as well. So nothing that can't be fixed within a second, but still could affect the aero of that truck. And we've got our first pit road takers coming down this time by. It's the number 3 truck of Paul Hoffman currently making his way down the pit road. Or out. Which one is it? It's out. Paul Hoffman comes out of the pit road there. Nobody else just yet down pit road, however, as Paul Hoffman was the first one. Oh, Jackson Bell comes down now as well. So Bell was running top 4, top 5 that entire run. He's going to be one of your first down the pit road, and this could lead to pretty much everybody else trickling in here.
Probably a little bit of strategy here. I mean, we've watched these guys. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan. I think that we've seen these guys go, 40, 50, 55 laps green without coming. So maybe a little bit of strategy to come a little bit earlier here this week at Homestead.
Well, again, nowhere near as big of a track as it is here at Homestead for most of those races, but you could easily stretch 40 laps out of a full tank of gas in these Camping World trucks. So, like you said, I believe the 53 of Carl Burke will come down pit road here very soon. Jeff Hollingsworth still the lone man there, who's just caught an unlucky break so far. It's continuing to be green here. You look into turn number 3, it was a 3-wide battle for a second between David Weaver, the 46 machine of Earl Weaver, and I believe that was the 3 of Paul Hoffman, who is starting to make a charge back towards the front. believe, as I was stating previously, Carl Burke has made his way to the pit road. He is coming down for what you would assume to be 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles and a splash or two of Sunoco Racing fuel. Or you never know, maybe they are subjected to using, I don't know, Renegade fuel or something like that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sunoco over there for Carl Burke as he takes the VGM Racing ESBN sponsored number 53 off of pit road here. Oh man, 33 laps in the books, 1 caution flag so far. Ben, we couldn't have called it. We could not have called no caution so far except for that one on lap number 1. But I don't know about you. I'm tremendously enjoying what we've seen so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Really great racing so far. I mean, like we've been talking about it really so far throughout the whole broadcast. Jeff Schmeier from 10th to 2nd. I just talked about some of the other big movers. Now Wayne Hutchison with these green flag stops coming in inside of the top 10 from 13th. So, really interesting what we've seen so far. Like you said, would have imagined that maybe we would have had a couple more cautions, but you got to figure after that first caution, a lot of guys wanting to keep the car clean, maybe even some having to use a fast repair early on.
Well, that would be a terrible thing to have to do then, and like we saw, even Hollingsworth, after his tremendous amount of damage, decided not to use one. And right now you see Kyle McCartney. He's been your leader pretty much the entire time this race has been green. I believe he led us to green, and he has been out there the whole time. He's currently running about 35.3 lap times pretty much every time by. Last time, this same thing had a 35.3. And you look at guys who have come down pit road, like the 3 of Paul Hoffman. Hoffman, he's running about a second quicker than McCartney is right now. So those 4 fresh tires, they're going to play a big dividend in how this race is going to go for the guys that A, either decide to stay out for a longer period of time, or B, the guys who come in early.
And also with these green flag stops, Ryan Steele up to 4th now. Talked about him earlier, starting from 16th. He was already on a really great run. Gonna try to make the most out of the set of tires he's got on there for now, as well as Bentley Glazer, Jeff Schmeier, and Kyle McCartney, as you mentioned, still on cruise control out front. Is Jackson Bell with those fresher tires going to make work of him on the outside? Well,
Ryan Steele's a driver who's got a tremendous amount of momentum behind him after a great 3rd place finish last week at the Pocono Speedway. So Steele trying to make the best of it right now. Didn't do that great in qualifying, but so far, I mean, strategy for that driver is working out there as he's, like you said, in the 4th position. We'll have to pit here shortly, so that'll shuffle him back a good ways, but no harm, no foul so far for Steele as he continues to just tick away laps here. Lap number 39 of 107 in the books. We're coming to lap 40 next time by.
And Jackson Bell, the last car on the lead lap after getting back around Kyle there. It's going to leave us... I'm sorry, I was looking scoreboard update there. 25 cars, 24 cars on the lead lap right now. So as we get down to these later green flag stops, like you said, these fresher tires going to pay off for some of these guys that have gone a lap down and are in the back, going to take advantage of a couple guys having to come down pit road.
Well, right now we see a little bit of push and shove there for the battle for 5th position. It's Wayne Hutchison in the 17 and Kuhn back there in that number 30. Hutchison was able to easily pass Kuhn in turn number 1 last lap, but Kuhn tried to fight back, shoved Hutchison into turns 3 and 4, and right now he's got the high side on Hutchison. Might look for a run here down the back straightaway. Other than that, pretty spread out right now. You got Schmeier and Glazer still 2nd and 3rd. Both have not taken their green flag pit stop yet, and neither has your leader, Kyle McCartney, who has stretched his lead to over 5.4 seconds over the number 22 of Schmeier.
We'll see. Like you said, kind of really starting to get to that stretch point here, lap 42. See when these guys start coming. Gotta figure they're trying to err on the side of Lady Luck right now and get that yellow flag.
Well, that's possible. It would put some people at a huge disadvantage, and just as you say it, there it is. The announcer's curse strike somebody as we take a look back to see exactly what happened there. Looks like Dan Stussy. See who he collided with there. The 46 machine of Earl Weaver and the 78 of Stussy. Stussy had the high side. Weaver was low. Stussy just came down just slightly. A little contact was made and around he went. Luckily, no contact with anything else after that for Stussy. As he just barely keeps it off the inside wall, as you were seeing on the ESPN replay there. So, no harm, no foul really for Stussy. I mean, he has, I believe, a lap down. Let me take a look here. Yes, 2 laps down for Dan Stussy. So, I mean, but able to keep the car out of the wall there, avoiding all kinds of helpless damage. So, Stussy's going to be able to go in, fix that little bit of damage he had there. Got an apology over the radio from the 46 of Earl Weaver. Weaver really had nowhere to go. Stussy came down the track just slightly trying to catch a side draft off of Weaver, and just a little bit of contact is all it takes to send a truck around here at Miami.
I guess I shouldn't open my mouth about it, huh? Brought a little bit of bad luck to the field there.
Well, as you say that, and that gives a great opportunity to Bentley Glazer, Kyle McCartney, and the rest of the field to come down and pit under yellow. You see Schmeier there, the second away behind McCartney, I do believe. Yes, McCartney leads us off of the pit road, but followed by Schmeier. Jackson Bell stayed out. Then you have Bentley Glazer, Ryan Steele, Nick Kuhn, Wayne Hutchison, Bob Beltrami, Charles Woods, Brian Barnes, and the rest of the field coming off of pit road here as they will go get relined up and get ready to go back green flag racing once again here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
So what do you think so far, Ryan? You enjoying it? I know that you already asked me, so I'd assume that you are. But what's your thoughts here so far?
Oh, man. Obviously, it's been a fantastic race so far up front. I mean, mid-pack, you see a bunch of good racing as well. So, nothing to bat an eye at so far. I mean, the race that we're seeing put on by the 22 of Schmeier and the 87 of Glazer has been second to none. Jackson Bell, he's testing a little bit of luck here as he pitted a little bit earlier. Going to see how those slightly older tires can hold up there as he's in second. Kyle McCartney still going to lead us back to the green flag. So, we're almost at the halfway point, and we've still got a lot of first-class racing action to bring to you tonight. So do not go anywhere. Keep your eyes right here on the Western States Racing League on the Esports Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to the Western States Racing League right here on the Esports Broadcasting Network as we take the green flag once again on lap number 47. It's McCartney gets another good jump on the inside. Jackson Bell will be the first man to try and rip the top here on these cold tires. Bentley Glazer's throwing his name right up in the hat. Man, we've got them spread out far and wide like a big old hornet's nest here into turn number 3.
Really great action on the restart here. Jeff Schmeier to the outside. Jackson Bell going to slide up in front of him. All clear as Jeff Schmeier's had speed all night. He's probably not going to be content sitting there. Followed by Bentley Glazer, Ryan Steele, Wayne Hutchison, Charles Wood, and Bob Beltrami.
Speaking of Wood and Beltrami trying to battle Wood for the 7th position. Beltrami sticking to the outside here. Wood stuck on the inside. Like I said, the Larson line is where you want to be at this Homestead-Miami Speedway. So Beltrami going to try and go for a 2-for-1 here as he gets around the 40 of Wood, and he's going to try and battle to the backside of the 17 of Hutchison.
And Schmeier now back around Jackson Bell for that second spot. Bentley just wide-eyed watching them battle back and forth as they have traded sliders, and Jackson Bell into the wall in turns 1 and 2. Going to allow Ryan Steele to get by him going down the backstretch.
Well, something else crazy that happened, if we can get an ESPN replay on the number 4 of Brian Barnes on coming to the last lap by, Barnes took a big old spin coming off a 4. Luckily, no caution was waived as the 4 of Barnes, I believe, made contact with the 3 of Hoffman and went around. Barnes now back to the 28th position, but as you said, Glazer was in the wall up front, and he is currently battling back to the inside of the 22 of Schmeier.
Look a little bit further back now. As you talked about, Wayne Hutchison now taking a look to the inside of Jackson Bell, and Bob Beltrami going to follow him. The 40 car of Charles Wood still having a really great run here tonight, following with them up through. Nick Kuhn and Dennis Fousson shuffling it up back there for the 9th and the 10th spot is Kuhn in that Skoll truck with a big run off the bottom to get around him.
The Skoll bandit there, Nick Kuhn, doing his absolute best to get around that 20 of Fousson. He does so. Looks like the 99 of Barry Thilsinger, he's going to stay high to somebody. Ooh, Kuhn gets slippery off of turn number 4. That opens the door right back up for Fousson on the inside in the Tito's Vodka number 20 machine. So Fousson going to take the 9th position back from Kuhn across the line, but Kuhn's going to fight back on the outside. It's a treacherous game up there against the wall. Those cars could shoot sideways at a moment's notice. Ooh, still battling hard there for 9th as Kuhn back to the inside, bringing along the number 36 machine of Cody Jenkins with him.
From 35th in the 36 car. What a move going down the backstretch there, Ryan. Really interesting as we're starting to see some really good racing shape up. Kyle McCartney out to a 1.2 lead over Jeff Schmeier. He's still using up the top. Bentley and Ryan battling for that 3rd spot right now.
And we've still got a battle brewing for the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th spots on the racetrack. Bell getting pressured by the 30 of Kuhn, the 36 of Jenkins is on the outside. We've got a hornet's nest of cars here in turn number 3. You see Bell there holding up the outside line just slightly as Jenkins tries to get a run on him. The 30 of Kuhn was able to get around Bell there. The 20 of Fousson is now following along the 31 of Gall, who's on the inside. So we got race trucks all over the racetrack here, all battling for position there. Jackson Bell is the odd man out as far as tire wear is concerned, and that is proving to be a factor right now as he loses another spot, that time to Cody Jenkins here. Man, oh man, what a battle there as Bell slides back into the 11th, make it 12th position as Fousson gets around him on the inside. And there's your man, Paul Krumrei there in the 8th machine, got some heavy damage to the front of his Ford F-150 race truck. So Krumrei gets now around Bell, but he's got some heavy damage to the front of that. My bad, it's a Chevy Silverado. And that makes sense why it's got damage to the front of it. But Krumrei now around Bell as we head into turn number 3.
And as you were saying all that, Ryan Steele able to pull off the 2-for-1 special last lap on Bentley and Jeff. So he's now sitting in that second spot. He's been fast all night from 16th, made his way well into the top 6 or 7 early on before the green flag stopped. So watch out for Ryan as we get into the latter half of the race.
Well, that's exactly right. As Ryan Steele last time by was 0.2 of a second faster than your leader, McCartney. Glaser and the 22 of Schmeier both on the top side of the racetrack. Still Ryan Steele making it work on the bottom side of the racetrack. You see Jeff Schmeier there, Bentley Glaser still riding in third. McCartney last time by ran a 34.2. Last time by Steele, 34.075. So Ryan Steele currently the fastest truck on the racetrack.
And Nick Kuhn getting around Rob Gall. I'm sorry, yeah, it was Nick Kuhn around Rob Gall. Now on the top side, Rob's going to take a look back to the inside, followed up by the 20 car of Dennis Fousson. Really good battle back there, still around that 10th spot as you were talking about just a minute ago. And Jackson Bell, that was in that battle, now has fallen back to the 14th spot with a little bit of damage on the right side of the truck with that contact with the wall a little bit earlier on starting to affect him.
Well, it could be that, or it could be that tremendous tire wear that he's currently racing with. Remember, he pitted about 20 laps ago, so on some older tires than all of these guys. But like we're seeing right now, that 30 machine of Nick Kuhn, he's making the OG Skull Bandit Harry Gant very, very proud right now as he currently rides in the 8th position, making up some spots. Cody Jenkins from 35th to 11th. He is currently your biggest mover on the racetrack besides Ryan Steele, who figured something out. Not sure what he figured out during the pit stops, but Ryan Steele obviously figured something very major out as he's gone from 16th to 2nd. Still one of your 2 fastest trucks on the track.
That's absolutely right, and he's just picking away at Kyle now. Not a whole lot of a shaving there that lap, but was up over a second lead for Kyle, so now under a second, just a touch under a second, followed by Bentley, Jeff Schmeier, Wayne Hutchison in 5th, as Bob Beltrami having a great run tonight from 9th to 6th. Gotta love to see that.
Well, once again, a battle for the 11th position is taking shape here. Krumrye to the inside. The 36 of Jenkins sticks to the outside. Krumrye still with that damage to the front of his race truck, somehow making the aerodynamics work here as he gets not so much of a run down the front straightaway. He's going to pull back in line of the 36th, but that opens the door to the 2 drivers behind him. It's Carl Burke and Mark Redeker here as they are going to join the fray now for the 11th position battle.
I was just about to say that, Ryan.
We already here you see Jackson Bell having to come back down the pit road after his pit strategy came back to bite him on the restart here. Bell going to be your first man down and away, and that could bode well if he can make up the rest of the 46 laps here left in this race. If Bell can stay out the whole time, he might have a shot at winning this thing, but he's going to have to overcome a tremendous, well, 2 laps down. He should be maybe 1.5 laps down once it's all said and done. The 24 of James Campbell is going to come down pit road as well, a man who we haven't spoken about all night so far. That Hooters machine of Campbell with a little bit of right front damage. A lot of these trucks surprisingly coming down pit road with some right front damage here.
And a new second place sitter in Bentley Glaser. Didn't see what happened. Able to make his way around Ryan Steele for that second spot. Still Jeff Schmeier in 4th. Wayne Hutchison in 5th. Paul Beltrami in 6th. All smooth sailing as the field getting a little bit spaced out as some of these guys starting to come for their green flag stops.
Well, the big thing that probably happened there is that Ryan Steele was working the dog out of the car there for about 15 laps. So it does make sense that once he finally stopped giving her all she's got, Glaser was able to make his way back around him. But those 2 are starting to lose your leader Kyle McCartney once again as the advantage was down to about 0.6 seconds. Now it's back up to 0.7, and we're going to see what it's at next time by. But green flag pit stops are looming once again for this entire field here on lap number 64, as we are over halfway to our goal of 107.
And just to touch on it here for a second, just because we had our eyes on it early on, Jeff Hollingsworth was able to make his way back up to just 1 lap down, now back to 2 laps down. So, wish the best of luck to him to be able to get her done as he always does. So, unfortunate to see him go back 2 laps down again.
That's exactly right. And the next truck that's going to come down pit road looks like it's going to be the 8 of Paul Krumrei, who just stuck the hand out of the window. Mark McFadden may fall him down here. We got 3 wide in turn number 4. Here's Krumrei dips off the track. Oh, what a dangerous place to do so. As he's lucky he didn't collide with the 07, the 23, and other trucks that were in the area. 8 of Krumrei down pit road here on lap number 65. Carl Burt, Mark Rediker, the 36 of Jenkins, the 24 of Campbell, the 23 of Bell, they were all in the area of Krumrei as he ducked down off of the racing surface, as well as the 85 of Eric Woods, who we've not had a chance to speak about tonight. The 33 of Kevin Thrift is right there rocking a brand new paint scheme tonight as well. That Pennzoil throwback there for the 33 of Thrift. Oh man. Keith Kelman down there still rocking the Bud Light Orange number 07. Krumrei is still on pit road getting serviced. You got Russ Kilgore running in 17th. Javier Perez Torres, Earl Weaver, Brian Barnes there back up to the 19th position from where he was after his incident earlier. William Fletcher's in 21st. Timothy Bates is in 20th. Wayne Fleet back there in 28th right behind them. Barry Phil in 29th. Mark McFadden is in 22nd right now. David Wood is in 23rd. And then you shuffle back around to your leaders here as more people begin to trickle their way into the pit road.
And as you mentioned, some of these older tires really starting to come into play. Bentley has Kyle's lead cut down to, he was 7/10 last lap. It looks like he's probably a little bit closer to that now, potentially. So not letting him go, but going to get interesting as we get to the green flag stops, as the track position is really going to matter.
Oh, it most certainly is. And unfortunately, he was not able to shave anything off of the lead last time by 0.823 seconds. Now, back of your leader McCartney is Glazer. He's still got steel breathing down his neck. Wayne Hutchison is a good bit back of them as he continues to start to pull away from the 22 of Schmeier in his Toyota Tundra. And then you've got Beltrami sitting in 6th. So another good run for Bob, who is going to try and stretch out his second place points gap between him and Jeff Hollingsworth. Krumrei back on the racetrack in his number 8 machine. He is currently in 31st. Dennis Fuson is scored at 8th. Nick Kuhn 9th. Rob Gall rounds out your top 10 as he's getting pressured by the 23 of Jackson Bell, who scored in 24th. So not a position battle there for Bell as he's trying to get back on the lead lap.
Bob Beltrami making good work on the top side, still holding on to that 6th spot as he fades down to the middle of the track, followed by Charles Woods and Dennis Fuson, pretty close to each other right now. A little bit of a gap between them, back to Nick Kuhn, and that's Jackson Bell that's with Nick Kuhn right now. He's a lap down, if I'm not mistaken.
As you say that, we've got a battle for the second position. Ryan Steele has made the pass on the inside of Bentley Glazer. Glazer in no shape to fire back here as he falls about 4 car lengths back of the 12 of Steele. And as we say that, Glazer comes down pit road. So Glazer down pit road. Nobody else coming down with him as of yet. So that might set the 87 machine up for a good late race run here. Steele and McCartney are now your 2 leaders on the track, with the Schmeier, Hutchison, Krumrei all in the vicinity here. But you got to be thinking Kyle McCartney may be getting very, very close to some green flag pit stops of his own. And as I say it, here comes the 18 of McCartney coming in for 4 tires and a splash of fuel.
Ryan Steele and And Wayne Hutchison's going to keep their cars out on the track for the time being, along with Scott Beltrami. All these guys probably going to see 4 more tires here on this stop. Probably haven't had to use a whole lot of those sets up yet, as we're just under 35 laps to go here, 35 laps to go here.
Well, something that I want to make a touch on really quickly as we continue to work down this race, we just want to give a thanks to everybody watching, everybody that has subscribed to our Esports Broadcasting Network YouTube channel. On Sunday, I was lucky enough to be on the broadcast of the Majors American Sportsman Division race at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where we, during that race, hit our goal of 1,500 subscribers, meaning that a couple of tattoos are going to be put on some bodies here. Not mine, but our executive producer here tonight, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, along with a couple other of the founders of the Esports Broadcasting Network, including Byron Rodney and I believe Mr. Tony Trapasso, will be getting a little bit of ink on their bodies, and I'm pretty much forcing it onto Sam's buttocks, but we're going to find that one out when it happens. But if it's not on the buttocks, I quit, Sam. I'm just letting you know now.
And Kyle... Kyle was on the table.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know you couldn't hear Sam just now, but A, he doesn't want me to quit, but B, he doesn't want it on his buttocks, so he's going to have to decide very quickly which one it's going to be.
Now, I think that you forgot something kind of important there, Ryan. If I'm not mistaken, I think I had heard that if you're watching from home, that you could have the opportunity to be a part of the ESPN team.
Well, that is exactly right, as we are still currently looking for a couple of more broadcasters and or producers. If you think that you can do what I do every night of the week, hit us up on our Facebook page at the Esports Broadcasting Network. If you've got what it takes, we'll push you on a broadcast and get you all set up and ready to go. And if you think that you can run cams better than Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, hit us up, as well as we are looking for some new members of the team. We will be in contact with you guys shortly if you do hit us up about that. But back here on the racetrack, 76 laps in to our 107 lap feature here. Kyle McCartney back to the 18th position. Your current leader is the 12 of Ryan Steele.
A lot of cars. I see Dennis Fousson making his way off the pit lane now. Take a look and see if I can see anybody else here.
Well, you've got drivers the likes of Carl Burke, Mark McFadden, the 99 machine of Barry Philbill's down there as well, and a lot of guys just came off of pit road as well. The 40 of Charles Woods will be the next man to come down, and he's entertained as well by another gaggle of cars. So most of your front runners, if not all of them, have now taken tires, and fingers crossed, should be good on tires and fuel for the rest of this race.
Down to 13 cars on the lead lap with these green flag stops. Jackson Bell right now gonna be pretty happy after, getting into the wall, picking up some damage. As you had mentioned, was running on some older tires. Looks like he might find himself in quite the spot. So he was able to make his way back out on the track with that fresher set of tires right between McCartney and Schneier.
Some other guys coming out. Keith Kelman just exited the pit road. Russ Kilgore took his pit stop not too long ago. Bentley Glazer currently scored in the 12th positions, right there behind Kilgore on the track. So Glazer still on the lead lap. Kyle McCartney currently is scored in the 13th position. So McCartney at a little bit of a disadvantage right now to Bentley Glazer. So I don't know. Bentley Glazer is a genius. We all know that. He could have pulled the okey doke, pulled the wool over the eyes of the number 18 of McCartney here. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty already. This seems to have been a fast race, but when you've got drivers the likes of these guys, these races go by fast, and it's some of the best racing action you could ever think to want here, as Ryan Steele continues to be out there on those old tires here, riding around in the first position at 35-second lap times compared to even the 33.9 of Jeff Schmeier. He's going to have to come down here very, very soon.
And Jackson Bell going to look to race his way back onto the lead lap. Maybe before he can get to it. Bob Beltrami now with a big run to the inside of him. These positions that they're battling for right now are really going to matter as they make their way back onto the lead lap.
The 85 of Eric Woods is down in the pits and away as well. He's had a pretty good ride so far tonight for Eric Woods in the 85. A good point tonight for him as he comes out right next to the 27 machine of David Wood, who's had another good ride tonight as well. But you got to be wondering what's on the mind of your leader Ryan Steele right now, hoping and praying for a caution to keep some of these guys a lap down at the back of the pack. But still, he's got to be getting awfully close to having to make his green flag pit stop here.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've seen a couple weeks now where Ryan really likes to stretch it out. I think it was last week or the week before that he stayed out forever, and I sounded like a dummy because he ended up running the whole race.
Jackson Bell once again is coming down pit road. Not exactly sure what for this time. I mean, maybe he thinks that we're going to get a caution here and he needs those extra 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles and some more Sunoco Racing fuel. But Bell, once again in this Sinclair number 23, is down pit road and he's going to be away. So Bell, he's taking an extra stop here, the 8 machine of... Gosh, names come and go from my head, but it's the 8 of Paul Crumry. He's down the pit road as well once again. So a lot of guys you didn't think would have to come down again are having to come down again. Maybe they're doing the old short pit strategy here, as the 36 of Cody Jenkins is in, as well as the 78 of Dan Stussy. Timothy Bates in the number 11 truck, and that's everybody on pit road currently, as the 12 of Steele still has not come down the pit road.
Well, it's going to make things interesting pretty quick here. Coming down to just outside of 20 to go, 21 to go. It's going to get interesting if Ryan comes down, if he comes down, when he comes down. Just like last time, he's probably going to make me look like a big dummy.
Well, I mean, he's got to come down unless he runs out of fuel here. So you got to think within the next 5 laps, he's going to have to do it. He stretched it pretty much as far as he can. But, I mean, at this point, he's run the type of race where you're hoping for a caution. But seeing the racing we have on track, I just don't think we're going to have one.
Relatively spaced out. I know that we got some cars bumper to bumper, but we're not seeing that door-to-door battle as we were earlier, so I think you're 100% right.
Well, I mean, you've got Steele and Hutchison who haven't pitted, Redeker, Glazer, McCartney, Schmeier, Beltrami, Torres, Kuhn, your top 9, they are on the lead lap. They have all pitted. Paul Hoffman is going to come down pit road once again. I believe as he has a hand out of the window here. Let's Mark McFadden around to his outside. So Hoffman in the 3 machine is in pit road as well. But you got to think for Ryan Steele and Wayne Hutchison, they got to be getting close here. As Steele lets the 20 of Fuson by on the inside and now has the 16 of Weaver to the outside. So Ryan Steele, is decision time for that driver.
So right now,
we turn our attention to Cody Jenkins here in the number 36 machine. Big problems there. The car up in smoke on the pit road now for Jenkins. That was a catastrophic failure to the engine. Jenkins blows it up, has a big hit, and he is out of the race.
Yeah,
Instead, a big hit for Jenkins after a spin. absolutely destroyed the motor. Motor go boom. Jenkins out of the race here on lap number 90 of 107.
Those older tires, man, get a little bit loose coming off. Find yourself that inside pit wall. I've been there. That's probably normally where I'm at. So.
Well, Jenkins is a driver that has plenty of experience, and it's just unfortunate when something like that happens. You see, I mean, catastrophic failures just gets a little too loose and slides it down on the inside wall, and motor go kaput, and losing out on a great night of racing is as simple as that sometimes.
And Bentley and Kyle were, at one point, obviously early on after the green flag stops, better than 30 seconds back of our race leader, Ryan Steele, have nearly cut that in half with those fresher tires at this point. I know Ryan's been talking about it quite a bit. Just about 17.3 seconds last time around the speedway. Wayne Hutchinson, 5.9 seconds behind Ryan Steele right now, as they just keep chipping away at him. Gonna get interesting.
Well, we keep talking about Ryan and then Bentley and Kyle McCartney, but we haven't really talked about Wayne Hutchinson right there in the number 17. He's on the same pit strategy as Ryan Steele is so far that we've seen. So he could catch a bad break as well if we don't have a caution here within these last 15 or so laps here coming to the line this time by. I mean, these guys are pushing it to the very limit here as Glaser and McCartney, Redeker, and Schmeier continue to cut into the lead lap after lap after lap.
Like I said, I mean, just to give you a little bit of insight, I don't have the exact math, but they're roughly chipping away a second a lap right now. So with 14 laps to go, they are going to be awfully close to catching the leader if all goes as planned for them. It's going to be fun to watch.
They sure are, but in my mind, there is absolutely no way that Steele doesn't have to pit here. Absolutely no way. There's no way to save that much fuel here. He's done this on, I want to say, maybe 2 stops. If he pitted in during the last caution, but he's absolutely blowing my mind out front right now as Ryan Steele.
Paul Hoffman shaking it up with Kyle McCartney on some fresher tires, able to get around him to the inside of the 46 car.
Bentley Glaser is to the outside of Hoffman now, as Hoffman got around McCartney, the 46 of Weaver, and now the 87 of Glaser. So Hoffman 2 laps down. He's trying to make his way back onto at least 1 lap, the 1 lap down pace. As these guys, a tremendously clean race from everybody involved, as the 46 of Weaver into the outside wall right in front of the 87 of Glaser. That might let the 87 around him know he won't, as the 87's now being pressured from behind by none other than the 18 of Kyle McCartney.
And a decent-sized gap between Kyle and Jeff Schmeier, as you saw them
to the pit.
It out early.
Ryan Steele couldn't quite do it. Got to lap 96, and now he is down pit road, which will turn the race lead over to currently Wayne Hutchinson in the 17, and then probably promptly back over to the 87 of Glaser and the 18 of McCartney, and we'll have a photo finish, fingers crossed, at the line. Just as I say that, Hutchinson sticks the hand out the window. He will come into pit, and we've got a battle for what will be the lead. It's McCartney on the inside of Glaser, who stuck to that outside line here on some decently older tires nowadays. Mark Redeker looks like he's going to be pitting as well. So, I mean, hey, fuel economy might be close for the 87 and the 18 both, so we might see another shakeup here. But as it looks right now, McCartney gets around Glacier. Glacier's going to have to fight back on both the inside and the outside if he wants to make something happen here on lap 98 with exactly 10 laps to go right now.
And what a race as the pit strategy. Seems like it'll ultimately bite Ryan and Wayne, but a really great race by all those guys to stay out front for as long as they had. And back to Kyle McCartney, as we saw early on, a dominating performance by Kyle. Has Bentley been in that top 5 all night, putting on a show for you guys at home from the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Well, last week, Kyle McCartney had a weirdly not like himself run where he finished 12th or 10th at the Pocono Speedway. So McCartney back to his former self here tonight at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, has led most of this race. I believe he's led about half of this race in total. There is still led a very, very good portion of it. So for Kyle McCartney, this has to be the confidence booster that he was looking for going into the latter half of the season, into where points matter most.
And Bob Beltrami, sitting in 4th now after starting 9th, was running 6th for a good portion of the race. A really strong run. Dennis Fuson from 14th to 5th. Nick Kuhn running strong and steady all night, started 6th, currently sitting 6th. We talked about him all night, as well as Rob Gall. So really a lot of guys having a really good run here tonight with a little bit of, interesting stuff on lap 1, able to manage the car and keep it within the top 10 all night.
Well, Kyle McCartney still slightly faster than the 87 of Glacier lap in, lap out. About a 10th faster last time by. Actually, wasn't quite a 10th. It was... if I can find the 87 again, there we go. Bentley ran a 35.276. Last time a 2.12 there for Glacier. McCartney at a 35.160. So about a 10th faster than Glacier right now, which still, all in all, still a very, very good run for Bentley, who's going to extend his points lead over the 14 of Beltrami, who currently runs in the 4th position. So another good points night for Beltrami, who's going to extend his second place gap over Hollingsworth by a good amount of points, as Hollingsworth was our first driver to DNF on the night.
It's unfortunate, definitely one of those guys to see on the podium night in and night out. So tough luck for him. It's something that I talk about an awful lot, is tires keeping the truck clean and lady luck, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do about that.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, it's not like Hollingsworth got wrecked of his own doing. I mean, it was unfortunate the time that it happened. It's still unfortunate to this very second, but I mean, that gives a good night to guys like Beltrami, and you never know, maybe next weekend Beltrami comes out and has a bad race, but the person that it's done the most for right now is Kyle McCartney, who, again, started on pole, led our first 50 laps, and now he's back in the lead here and extending his lead over Bentley Glacier lap after lap, and it's 8 seconds back to Jeff Schmeier in 3rd, as his only hope of having that stripped away from him is if Beltrami can get a big run here with less than 5 laps to go.
Big run for Beltrami on the inside of Jeff Schmeier. See if he can make something happen coming out of the turn. He's got really good speed off the bottom.
Well, lost most of that speed there as he got loose off of turn number 4, if you saw it.
I just missed it, and that's why I have you.
Well, it's good to be good for something every now and then. And like I was saying, Beltrami needed a great run to try and get to Schmeier and get by Schmeier, but unfortunately fortunately for him, Schmeier is losing pace as his tires begin to wear. Beltrami has done a little bit better of a job of saving his, so he might have another crack at it here as this time by for your leader in the 18, McCartney. He came to 2 to go. The popsicle sticks are high in the air here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's Kyle McCartney in the 18 out of the Western Division of the iRacing clubs. He's got Glazer behind him, but it's McCartney taking the white flag here. 1 lap to go from the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the Western States Racing League, presented by Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking on YouTube. Right here on the Esports Broadcasting Network, McCartney, a dominating performance out of driver 18, led our first 50, resumed the lead in the 90-lap region, and since then has stretched out a lead over Bentley Glazer of 1.2 seconds, and he's going to come off of turn number 4 to win round number 13 of the Western States Racing League. It's Glazer coming home second. Jeff Schmeier comes home in third. Bob Beltrami stays fourth. Dennis Fuson rounding out your top 5. Oh, Ryan Steele got Fuson there at the line, stole it by a couple tenths of a second there. Ryan Steele 5th, Fuson 6th. Kuhn came across 7th, Gall 8th, Charles Woods 9th. Rounding out your top 10 was Brian Barnes, who made a comeback from the mid-teens.
Wayne Hutchison in 11th, Eric Woods in 12th, Kevin Thrift 13th, Carl Berg 14th, William Fletcher 15th, Russ Kilgore 16th, Keith Kelman 17th, Timothy Bates 18th, Jackson Bell 19th, Mark McFadden in the 20th spot, David Wood 21st, Mark Redeker 22nd, Javier Perez Torres 23rd, Paul Hoffman 24th, Earl Weaver in 25th, David Weaver in 26th, James Campbell in 27th, Paul Krumrai in 28th, Wayne Fleet 29th, Dustin Burns 30th, Barry Phil 31st, and Cody Jenkins retiring early, along with Jeff Hollingsworth, Dan Stussy, Alan Bergen, and Ross Hollings tonight.
Again, what a tremendous bout of strategy there. The setup was just right for Kyle McCartney here tonight at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. He absolutely dominates the Western States Racing League. We're going to wait just 1 second for him to jump up here into the broadcast booth with us. And while we do wait on him, we want to just quickly remind everybody that this Western States Racing League Truck Series race at the Homestead-Miami Speedway was brought to you by the fine folks over at diecastnuts.com. You can do pretty much anything with your diecast collection there. It's from trading it to showing it off to buying more. You can do that all at diecastnuts.com. We're also brought to you by Rocket Racing Setups, who are one of the most fantastic setup builders on the entire iRacing service. I mean, they offer anything from setup guides, asphalt dirt setups, other tuning guides, fuel sheets, much, much more than that as well at rocketracingsetups.com. And again, Outdoor Cast Iron Cooking is your presenting sponsor here for the Western States Racing League, so be sure to follow them on the YouTube page and subscribe to us as well on YouTube if you don't mind. And now the man himself has appeared up here in the broadcast booth with us. Kyle, a tremendously dominating performance from you. That setup seemed to be hitting from lap 1 to lap 107.
Yeah, that was a good old-fashioned butt whooping there, and to do it on Bentley was pretty awesome. But he did give me a scare by getting out in front on that last stop. So, and running through that lap traffic, we burned our stuff up pretty bad. So I'm glad I was still able to get by him.
Well, you certainly were, and I mean, you had to think they're coming to about lap 80 or so with Ryan Steele out in front. You had to know that it was still between you and Bentley, and you had to get around him because Steele had to pit there, and you managed to get it done. You got right back around him, right back to the race lead, and asserted your dominance once again to give you even more momentum going forward in the rest of the season.
Yeah, it felt good, especially after the terrible race I had last week. So it was good to put that behind me right away. But yeah, it was after we pitted, it was making sure we got back by Ryan to get on the lead lap, and then after that, every spot we gained, I was like, well, if we get a caution, that we wouldn't have lost so much track position. So I was like, man, we just got to go after Bentley now.
Well, you went after Bentley, you got around him, you won the race, and with that, and Jeff Hollingsworth's unfortunate night, that should put you in third place in the points, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, you've got 7 rounds left to try and make a charge at Beltrami and Glazer atop of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to catch Bentley. He's just dominated the entire season so far, and he's done good. I mean, it's been awesome to see somebody whoop up on us that bad, because there's a lot of talent here. But yeah, top 3 would be nice at the end of the season. So hopefully we can get her done.
All right, well, before we let you go and celebrate your big win at the Homestead-Miami Speedway here tonight, who are we thinking on the race truck? Who's helping you out in your sim racing career?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys in the booth at ESPN. You guys do an awesome job week in and week out. Bob Beltrami, thank you for running the league. It's been a lot of fun. Got to give a shout out to all of the McCartney fan club that's watching live here on YouTube. We've got a big crew watching, so thank you all for tuning in every week. And lastly, got to give a shout out to my wife, who's actually off work, and I'm supposed to be there to pick her up already, so I hope she won't be too mad.
Well, go hit the road, go pick up your wife, and hopefully we'll see you next week at Nashville. Kyle, once again, congratulations on your win here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Right, and up next, we're going to send it back down trackside where Mr. Ben Bruno has caught up with your second-place finisher, Bentley Glazer.
Bentley, a really great run here tonight. You and Kyle just going at it all night long. Looked like for a while there, maybe a little bit of tire preservation. How much did that play into your pitting strategy and ultimately that end shuffle there where you guys really got to battling to get the win?
Well, I don't know. Kyle was just faster all night, so I pitted when I thought it'd be all right too. I didn't think I could handle him, like hang on to it, but yeah, it was a pretty good race.
Able to stay out front all night, so I can't complain about that. Jeff at some points had a lot of speed. Were you a little bit worried about some of these other guys? I mean, obviously able to build on your points lead here, but a lot of guys having a lot of speed here tonight.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep the right front on it. Kept burning it up. Thought the high line might save my tire a little bit on the right front, but I don't know. I just couldn't do it.
Looking forward to Nashville as you're already leading in the points. How are you going to continue to stay out front and continue on this dominating performance that we've seen all year from you?
Just try to stay out of trouble. I've never actually raced at Nashville, so that'll be a first. So kind of excited for that. So that'll be cool.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you next week. Who do you want to thank for this great run here again this week at Homestead-Miami?
Thanks to my team, OGR. Thanks to you guys broadcasting, and thanks to the Western States Racing League. That's about it.
Well, hey, thanks for taking the time, Bentley. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Probably not the last time we're going to talk to you. We'll see you next week in Nashville.
All right, thanks.
So that was your second place finisher, Bentley Glazer, and now we're going to bring in the man who, albeit quietly, but still found his way in a top 3 position, Mr. Jeff Schmeier. Jeff, you were battling there with Bob towards the end of the race. He got a good run on you there at the end with about 5 laps to go, and from there you were able to pull away and cement yourself another top 3 finish. Man, what was your mindset during that last portion of the race to have to push as hard as you did to contain a top 3 here tonight?
Oh man, I was just trying to hit my marks. I was running the top line for most of the race, so when I had to move down to the bottom to protect, it was definitely a different experience. Luckily, Bob was nice and clean, and when we both had a couple of close encounters with the wall, we both stayed off each other.
Well, there was an instance there with about 5 to go where where Bob seemed to get a little bit sideways. Did you catch what happened in your rearview mirror? Or were you so on go mode that you had no idea what happened to him back there?
Um, I saw that I pulled away a little bit, but yeah, I'm not really sure. I couldn't really tell what he did there to get so loose.
I think he just got a little bit loose. I was asking you because I really didn't see it at all. And I mean, all in all for you, though, you cannot be disappointed with this run. You showed tremendous speed at the front of the race, even through the middle half of the race. But unluckily, there, the pit strategy from your two leaders and heck, even Ryan Steve, who was up there for a while, the pit strategy from all of you was a little bit different. Did that play a factor in you not being there with the front two at the very end?
Not really. I think they just had better pace than I did, like I had at the beginning of the race. The high line was actually a lot faster at the beginning of the race, but I think when the track got kind of rubbered in or something like that, the bottom was where it had to be. So um, yeah, I don't think I just had it for Kyle and Bentley up there. They're fast guys tonight.
Well, you had some tremendous speed all night long, and you try and take this momentum and that speed and transfer it over to a much, much smaller track. The Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway is that one of the tracks that kind of fits your wheelhouse? As we saw you run pretty well at the smaller tracks earlier in the season, are you as excited as I am to get back to some smaller tracks here on the schedule?
Yeah, yeah, I do like the short tracks. They're a bit of a wild card though, especially in this league. 'Cause we haven't had the best success at having some clean races this year. But Nashville's going to be interesting because I haven't even bought the track yet, so I need to
We
go do some practice on it before we get there next week.
Well, I can tell you from watching you race so far this season, it looks like it's going to fit right into your wheelhouse. And as you were stating, I mean, some of the races y'all have had, like heck, including tonight, I mean, only 2 cautions. That if that continues to be a thing, next weekend tire and fuel economy is going to be at a premium. And heck, you got to start planning now what you're going to do as far as pit stops next week.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
go continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely. We we're pretty clean, but just I guess it just depends on I guess it just depends on the combination.
Combination of track and driver often outweighs any other aspects. Well, Jeff, before we let you get going here tonight, who are we thinking on the racetrack? Who's getting you to the speedways nowadays?
Gotta thank my dog bear team. A whole bunch of us showed up tonight, which was it's always good to see them come out and hang with us on Tuesday nights. And of course, my fan club, my parents, and my girlfriend and my sister. They always tune in and watch. I just want to say, love you guys.
Well, I'm certainly about to send in my application for the Jeff Schmeier fan club as well. Jeff, always a pleasure talking to you. We'll see you next weekend at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for our top 3 interviews. Ben, a tremendous night once again of Western States Racing League action. These guys, week in, week out, put on some of the most top quality performances that I think I've seen out of any iRacing league out there.
Yeah, it seems like, no matter what fashion that we see it, within the last 10 or 15 laps of every race, it's going to be an absolute shuffle for, who really might grab it, whether it come down to pit strategy or somebody just being really fast. It's always very interesting with the Western States Racing League, that's for sure.
Well, we look forward to next week at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The points are going to be shaken up after this weekend, so I hope that you guys are as excited for that as we are, but that's still 6 days away, so you're going to have to wait just like we are. But keep your eyes right here on the Esports Broadcasting Network throughout the week, as we've got broadcasts tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then again, I believe, on Monday. So Keep your eyes right here. But for tonight, my name has been Ryan Williams, and for my broadcast partner, Mr. Ben Bruno, and our executive producer, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, I bid you a goodbye and good night. We'll see you sometime tomorrow.